The trees are still bent. 2 young birches, their trunks lashed together with rope, then pulled apart so hard the rope snapped, and the man tied between them came apart with it. He was your husband. He was the grand prince of all the Rus. And the men who did this to him are about to send 20 ambassadors to propose that you marry their king instead. You are Olga of Kiev. You are 35 years old. And in the next 12 months, you are going to kill every man who was in that forest. The Rus are not yet Russian. In the year 945, the land we will one day call Russia is a string of log-walled cities along a frozen river, loud with the hammer-ring of shipwrights on the wharves and the shouts of traders in a dozen languages. It is ruled by a mixed people of Slav farmers and Viking warlords who arrived here 3 generations ago and never left. Your husband was Prince Igor, a tax collector with a sword. Every winter he rode out to the tribes who owed him and came home with dark pine honey that tasted of wood smoke, salt-cured sable meat, and mead heavy enough to loosen the jaw. Every winter he took more than was owed. Last November he went to the Drevlians, a Slav forest tribe a week's march west of Kiev. He took their yearly tribute. He rode halfway home. Then he turned around with a handful of men and went back to take it again. Hear the snap of the rope. Smell the fresh pine sap from the bent birches. The Drevlians ambushed him in the trees, tied his body between 2 young birches they had bent to the ground with ropes, and cut the ropes. In the primary chronicle of the Rus, the line is only 11 words. It is still too many. Your son Svia, Slav, is 3 years old. Rus law says a woman cannot rule. And the Drevli. And Prince Mal has just decided that the easiest way to own Kiev is to marry the grieving widow. 20 Drevli. And ambassadors row upriver to Kiev in a single long boat to deliver Prince Mal's proposal. They are dressed in their best. They smell of pine tar and wet wool. They are smiling. Olga greets them on the Kiev quay. She tells them she accepts. She tells them that tomorrow her people will carry them into the city in their boat itself, an unheard of honor. She smiles back. That night you order your men to dig a pit, a deep one. Deep enough that a man standing inside it cannot see the top. In the morning, your men carry the Drevlians' own boat on their shoulders through the streets of Kiev, with the 20 ambassadors still sitting proudly inside it. The crowds cheer. The ambassadors smile back. None of them can see what is ahead. At the palace yard, the bearers stop at the edge of the pit. Then, all at once, they let go. You walk to the edge and look down. The chronicle says that when Olga looked into the pit, she asked the still living Drevlians if the honor pleased them. Then she gave the order, and her men began to fill the pit in with shovels of earth on top of the men who were still moving. It is not over. You send a message back to Prince Mal. Send your best men. Send your senior nobles. I will marry you, but only if the finest of your tribe come to escort me. A second delegation arrives 2 weeks later. Older men this time. Drevli, and elders with gray beards and silver arm rings. You welcome them to a Rus bathhouse to wash off the dust of the road. It is a sacred courtesy in the Rus world. Your men bar the door from the outside. Then they stack dry pine wood against the log walls. Then they light it. The Rus bathhouse is the most flammable building in the world. It is designed to burn. It is not enough. You ride to the Drevli and capital at Iskor-Os, 10 with a company of your own men and all the appearance of a grieving bride. You tell the Drevlians that before you marry Prince Mal, your husband Igor must have a proper funeral feast at the place where he died. You ask them to bring their 5,000 best men. The wagons are full of mead, Rus honey, wine, dark and heavy and strong enough to drop a va-aran, G and warrior with 2 cups. You tell the Drevlians to drink until their cups overflow. It is a funeral, you say. My husband would want it. When the last Drevlian's head drops to the table, you nod to your men. The primary chronicle says that 5,000 drevlian nobles were killed that night. 5,000. Over the body of a man none of them had ever met. What is left is the city itself. Iskor, OS 10. The town where your husband died. You lay siege to it for an entire year. You cannot take it, so you offer them a tiny tribute. Almost a joke. From every household inside the walls, send me just 3 sparrows and 3 pigeons. Then I will leave. They send the birds. They are relieved. That evening, you tie a tiny piece of sulfur wrapped in cloth to the leg of every single bird. You light them. You release them. Every bird flies home. Sparrows to the thatched eaves where they nest. Pigeons to the dovecotes in their owners' yards. The smoldering sulfur catches the thatch. Every roof in Iskor OS 10 catches fire at once. They run to the gates. Your men are already waiting outside. The ones who come out you kill or enslave. The ones who stay inside you let burn. You ride back to Kiev through a country that belongs to you now. You are 45 years old. You have killed more of your own subjects' enemies than any Rus prince in history. And you have one more thing to do. 12 years later, in the year 957, you take a ship down the Dnieper across the Black Sea and south through the Bosphorus. You are going to Constantinople, and you are going to be baptized. The Byzantine emperor himself, Constantine VII, will stand as your godfather. You will take the Christian name Helena. You will go home carrying a small Byzantine cross of gold and a priest and an idea that your grandson Vladimir will one day use to convert every Rus in the kingdom. She never does. She rules Kiev as regent, then as dowager, then dies in her own bed in the year 969. She is buried not in the forest, where her husband was scattered in pieces, but inside a wooden church with a priest saying Latin words over her grave. 6 centuries pass. And then, in the year 1547, the Russian Orthodox Church makes its decision. Olga of Kiev, the widow who buried 20 men alive, burned 40 in a bathhouse, massacred 5,000 at a feast, and set an entire city on fire with sparrows, is canonized as Saint Olga, equal of the apostles, the first saint of all Russia. Her 5,000 victims are not remembered. No one knows their names. No church bears their bones. They are only the footnote that a saint stepped on to climb up to heaven. The trees in that forest where Igor died are long gone, but walk the country of Iskor OS 10 today, and the Russian Orthodox calendar still marks July the 11th as the feast day of Saint Olga, the widow who showed Russia that if you kill enough of the right people, even the church will forgive you. Her grandson Vladimir finished what she started. In the year 988, he drove every Rus in Kiev into the Dnieper River at spear point.